action. Alrighty, how you guys doing? Good. All right, I'm good. Thanks for coming. So this is a meditation class. It is instructional, but I also like to make it a little educational. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes about some things, and then if there's any questions after that, we can answer those questions, and then we'll get into it. All right, so meditation means 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people. And so most meditation techniques are focusing on something, and that focus takes a lot of effort, and it often makes us feel like we're training for something, and then that makes our peace in the future. All right, but what I've found much easier and makes peace accessible right now is relaxing our focus and just simply recognizing the awareness that's already here. And so focus is like this fist. It's effort. And awareness is what happens when we just kind of relax that focus and just open up to awareness. And so there's nothing really to focus on. It's just kind of this fact that you notice. Like there is awareness. And it's a much easier presence than focusing on something. So the more aware you become of this innate awareness you have, the more you see that all things are just experiences in awareness. And the mind wants to take possession for these experiences. It says, that's my thought, my feeling, my body. But the possession is also just an experience. Okay, so as this becomes more clear, you stop being so submerged by experience, and you're able to just kind of calmly observe things from the perspective of awareness. It goes from, I'm thinking so much, I have so many feelings, to there are thoughts, there are feelings. There's more curiosity for the experience rather than resistance. So awareness itself kind of starts to just outshine all these experiences within it. And instead of focusing on all these changing things, we just stay with the knowing of this awareness that never changes. And we discover a real silence and stillness that's just kind of always been here. And we just have to notice it. It's very simple. So normally, a so-called negative experience happens, and then the mind goes, I hate this experience. But if you take another step back mentally, you see that I hate this experience is also just an experience happening within the mind. Okay, so what's aware of that? What's aware of the world and all the things that the mind thinks about the world? That's what we're kind of getting to know today and get more acquainted with. So awareness has no real point to it. It's all around us and within us. But the mind wants something to grab onto. But in being aware, we aren't really focusing on any one thing. We're just noticing awareness. And we're more so relaxing our mind. And so that's pretty much the practice. It's just relaxing, noticing, being. Does that make sense? Is that confusing at all? Cool. So like if you were to focus on something on the floor, like really intently focus on it, but then you kind of relax your gaze and kind of open up to your peripherals. So you're not really paying attention to any one thing. We're kind of doing the same thing with our focus. It's just kind of this open knowingness, right? And so as far as posture goes, in my experience, I haven't found any added benefit to sitting up straight like this. So if that's uncomfortable for you, you don't need to do that. You can sit like this. You can sit like this. What we're doing here is connecting with this awareness, and we don't need our body to be this distraction from that, right? Okay, and then last thing, it's okay to think. So when we have these thoughts coming in, our awareness kind of contracts and focuses on this thought. So just recognize that and relax your mind, and it will naturally just return back to this open awareness. And if there's judgment for the amount of thinking that you're doing, see that That judgment is also an experience, and just let the mind judge itself. So just notice the judgment and return to awareness. And also, if any emotions surface, just see that that's also just an experience, just a thing that's happening. Be aware of whatever thoughts the mind is attaching to that emotion. This is bad, this is scary, uncomfortable. It just is. And just let it be and let it happen. Okay? So we're not becoming anything. We're not creating an experience. We're just being. We're just noticing what's happening without resisting it. All right? Any questions? All good? Cool. All right, so we're going to meditate for 15 minutes, and then we're going to do walking meditation for 5 minutes, and then we're going to sit again for 15, and then we'll do a 5-minute shavasana. So if that sounds like a lot, feel free to just kind of bow out and take a break whenever you want. That's fine. But this first one, I'll give you guys a little guided meditation for like a minute or so, and then the rest will just be silent. All right? Let's get into it. Let me get some water. All right. So get in whatever posture you want to be in. All right, begin by relaxing your body. Just do a quick scan from head to toe, looking for any tension. And just release that. Pay particular attention to your face, and your cheeks, and your shoulders. Now, soften your focus, similar to relaxing the gaze of your eyes. Don't pay attention to anything in particular. Just relax into the knowing that you are aware. Simply be aware of the presence that's aware of this moment. Whatever feelings occur, ask yourself, what's aware of this feeling? What's aware of this body? Whatever thoughts occur, what's aware of the thinker? What's aware of the mind? As you become more aware of what's aware, relax the mind into that awareness. No focus or trying, just being. Simply notice awareness. And just stay in that open noticing. That's 15 minutes. So now I'm going to move to walking meditation. Any questions or comments before we start? All right, so now walking meditation is it's kind of how we apply awareness into life. And so when we're sitting here, it's kind of like we're this fully open lantern of awareness. And then in life, we kind of have to close it in a little bit. But it's kind of finding that balance of focus and awareness. And so with something as simple as walking, we can still stay very open and very aware and just have a gentle concentration on the feet and our body while still staying very just aware and knowing. Okay. If you want to just go stand by the window, you can. If you want to just have a mindful stretch, you can also do that. Alrighty, that's 5 minutes. All right, just remember, what's aware of this? Be aware of that. That's 15. So now we get to do a little savasana. Lay down. All right, so really soften your body. Find any tension and just relax it. What's aware of this body? What's aware of these thoughts? Turn that awareness on itself. Be aware of awareness. Soften your focus. Soften your mind. There's no need to be anything other than what you are right now. Slowly sit up. Alright, so how was that for you guys? Any resistances? Any struggles? Anything you want to share? I would say so, pretty much. It's just kind of this general knowing of kind of what's going on. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
What is aware of you being aware? Is that something?
So the mind really wants to turn it into something. It wants something concrete to look at and observe, but it is what's doing the observing. So awareness has no physicality to it or anything that you can observe. And so if you say to yourself, I am awareness, which kind of at our core, it does seem that that is the case. But once you say, I am awareness, then your mind kind of turns awareness into an identity and it creates an image for it. Like, so for me, it was kind of, my mind started thinking of awareness as space, but space is in awareness. And so it's like, your mind kind of says like, okay, I'm not this mind in this body anymore. Now I'm the witness. Now I'm awareness. And you just kind of create a new identity for yourself. And as long as you have an identity, you're kind of attaching on to things and you have something to defend. And so if awareness becomes your identity, then life will be this hindrance to your awareness. It's going to be like, oh, I don't want to do anything because I just want to be aware all the time because it's so nice. But when you see that that identity is just another kind of thing happening in awareness, then it kind of dissolves. And it's like, we're aware of these things and there's kind of this observer, this witness, and we tend to kind of create a point for it. Like for me, it was in my head for a long time. And I kind of realized that, and I realized that that point was just kind of a mental construct that my mind was creating. And so it's kind of like, well, what's aware of that? And then it's like, well, what's aware of that? And it's like you just kind of keep backing away from it until you just kind of become aware of the point, and then it just kind of dissolves, and you see that there is no real location of awareness.
So I kind of envision the same thing. It's like the paradox of the edge of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never find it.
Yeah.
Just, as soon as you go to that point, there's more.
Yeah.
Because it's, it's infinitely expanding. So at some point, you just have to sit there and just know.
Yeah.
There's an infinite edge, right?
There just is.
Yeah, it just is.
Yeah. We just are. As soon as we say, I am this, we create this thing that we have to defend. And kind of all the spiritual and philosophical traditions, it's like the main idea is that we are nothing. Like we're everything, but no one thing is what you are. And the only thing that says you are that is the mind. And the mind is just kind of this imaginary creation that gives meaning to everything. And when you realize that, then it's just kind of like, no, it just is what it is. And that can be very scary at first because our ego is like our sense of self. It's individual, and it's necessary. Like Matt Jones is my ego, and I need that to come here and teach this class, but I'm aware that's just kind of an idea, just kind of a character. And so when we first kind of having these first glimpses of pure awareness, that ego can go away because the mind goes away, and then it's like, where am I? And it's very fearful because the ego's filling you with fear because it's like, hey, I don't want to die. My entire job is to defend myself. So I'm like, come back. making you scared of that experience so that you stay in the ego. That makes sense? Any other questions? You guys have any struggles today? Any resistance? Like, this is hard? Yeah? You want to talk about it at all?
It was just hard.
Yeah, what was hard?
I've been like trying to practice mindfulness for a long time, and then kind of switching from that to awareness, like back and forth to just that whole entity, I guess, of the idea. And my brain just refuses to stop thinking about things I gotta do. I gotta go grocery shopping, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And it's hard to like move away from that, but also just be aware of it, like you said. Like it's okay, the judgments that are happening, like everything, just being aware of what's going on and just letting it happen is kind of opposite of what I've been trying to do in mindfulness. So it's just, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and the mind can be really sneaky with these little judgments. It's like, I'm aware that I'm thinking, but then it's like there's this kind of guy back here that's like, but stop. You should stop thinking. Control it. Put it down. But then you kind of widen your scope even more and you become aware of that. And then that's just kind of an experience. And it's just, there can be so much thinking, but the more aware you become of awareness, even when the mind is really loud, there's still just kind of this backdrop of like silence and peace. And you're not really identifying with all of it. It's just kind of like, maybe there's like kind of like this tornado swirling around you, but you're just kind of like this calm center, just kind of watching all of it. And so, yeah. So the more you just kind of ask what's aware of this, and the less you identify with all your thoughts, then once there's not as much identification there, there's not as much interest. And so it's not really like, I need to do this, I need to do that. Just there's a thought of needing to do this. And you'll naturally just kind of get more acquainted with this awareness. And your mind naturally will get a little bit quieter. But even if it doesn't get that much quieter, peace is not a silent mind, because then you're creating this condition that I'm only at peace when my mind is silent. Peace is just a lack of resistance to what is. Just total acceptance and inclusion of all experience. And so being aware does kind of help to quiet the mind, but if you're trying to make that happen, you're going to create a lot of frustration for yourself. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I was doing the same thing, but I kept trying to ask myself, who's observing? I always kept coming back to I'm observing, and just going back and forth and back and forth. So I tried to go like outside of that and ask myself, okay, maybe I'm observing me, but who's observing me, observing me?
Exactly. Where is that I?
Yeah. But then I was thinking, okay, well, if I die, then that I goes away. Maybe there's more observing. Maybe there's more awareness. Being aware of me, not being aware anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those questions we won't really know until we die, huh? A lot of teachers do like to say that awareness continues after death, but I'm like, how do you truly know that? You know, the more aware you become of awareness, the more you see that it truly does not change. So given its unchanging nature, seems plausible it will continue after the death of the body, but I really don't know. So it's just kind of one of those questions we gotta let go of. And not knowing is actually a very peaceful way to live. The mind wants to know, and accepting that you don't know and just being at peace with not knowing is actually very helpful. But yeah, kind of ask yourself, where is this I? Where does this I think it is, and who does it think it is? And realize that that's something the mind is creating. All right, so I got this quote here that I'd like to share with you guys. The fool thinks peace comes by controlling the mind. They will never attain it. The wise one knows truth and is stillness itself. So that truth is basically just awareness. the truth that the mind is an experience. Everything just is, and we just are. There's this teaching of I am, where it's just kind of resting in the knowing of being. Just something exists, something is here. This is, and not trying to become something, not saying that I am this or I am that. It's just the noticing of the isness. All right. Cool. So that's all I got. Thanks for coming, guys. Yeah. Yeah. I got a group chat for this class if you want to be added to it for WhatsApp. Yeah. Okay. I'll give it to you. Sweet. Thanks for coming, guys. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Yeah. And if you don't want to keep it, I will not be offended. Cut.